Hey everyone, welcome back to the Car Dealership Guy Industry Spotlight. I'm your host, Sam Dark, COO here at the Ziegler Auto Group. And coming up this episode, a fascinating conversation with Jay Healey, Chief Marketing Officer at the Healey Brothers Auto Group, and Justin Friend, SVP Dealers United. Today, you'll hear one thing you can't afford to not do with your social and digital content, how the Healey Brothers Auto Group are rebranding salespeople as, get this, internal influencers, and the importance of telling your story in your community, not China, aka not all dollars spent on digital are equal. Today's episode is brought to you by Dealers United. Thanks for supporting the show. Let's get to it. So Jay, tell us a little bit about the Healey Automotive Group. Who are you? Where are you? And what do you sell?
So we're a group in Hudson Valley, New York. So it's above New York City. It's not New York City like everyone thinks. We were founded by my grandfather after he got out of the military. So that's why we're so important with the veterans and all that stuff. So we have 10 franchises, 9 locations. We have Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, Lincoln, Chevrolet, Mitsubishi. So that's kind of where we are. We do about 1,000 cars a month. We try to do 400 used. We don't always get there, so at least 300 to 350. And that's kind of a little bit about us.
What's your favorite brand right now, Jay, out of all those?
So this is going to be a shocking one. I'm a Jeep guy at heart.
Okay.
I drive a Jeep Trackhawk. That's my go-to car and my go-to brand, even though Stellantis is not in the best place, but that's where I am with that brand.
So it strikes me as interesting, you being so close to New York City, you're in the Hudson Valley there selling 1,000 cars a month. It always strikes us here at Ziegler, what we sell technically is a commodity. It's a car. They can buy it anywhere from anywhere else. How do you differentiate yourself? What makes Healey Brothers different from the city dealerships?
So one thing is we're ingrained in our community. We have over 500 employees. They all live, work here, and are part of it. And that's like our foundation. So we always want to give back. We want to be there supporting them, help the schools. And that just makes us so different because we're always helping the veterans. And other car dealerships, they're giving back, but they're not doing it locally enough. And I think that's one thing that we stand on, and it really, really differentiates us from anyone else in our area or even New York City.
That's cool. So at the Ziegler Auto Group, we do an event annually called Drive for Life, and we really try to raise a ton of money to bring back to the community. Is there a particular charity or an event that connects with you and the group?
Yeah, so we actually started our own foundation a few years ago. It's called Healey Brothers Driven to Give. So we do events all year. Our big event is this golf outing, and then we choose a local foundation, local charity or foundation. So we always try to find where they're helping them, whether it's building homes or feeding the hungry in our area. We always try to keep it small and to the people that directly affects us. We want them to know that we care about them, and we're always here to support them no matter what.
Yeah, that's very cool. We'll put a link to that event in the show notes for anybody that wants to participate or give back in it. So your auto group is a family group. So there's yourself. What other members of the family that are part of the group?
So it was started by my grandfather in 1977, and then he has 2 sons, Paul and Dwight. They're still operating today. And then I have 2 younger brothers, and then I have a cousin, Brian, who's in the business as well.
Okay, so if you're ever in a room together and somebody has to make the decision, who makes the decision, Jay? Do you rock, paper, scissors? Does it go to blows?
It's a battle, but it always comes out. We all agree. I'm sure Justin's heard some of the conversations, but it's good, friendly, I guess, competition to get to the right area. We all believe in the same thing. We're all pushing to the same area. So it actually goes a lot smoother than most people might think with a family business. But yeah, there's challenges here and there for sure.
That's one of the great things about automotive is so often it is a family business, and there's no business like it anywhere in the country, right? And we're dynamic in the way that we arrive at consensus, and we're also pretty scrappy in the automotive industry about how we overcome challenges. So it's interesting. The brands that you list, there are a ton of dealerships that sell similar stuff all over the country. What are some of the biggest challenges with getting your brand out there and selling that 1,000+ units a month?
So the one thing that we start with, it's yes, we represent all these other franchises, but at the main thing, we're Healey. So whether it's we're selling you a Kia or a Ford, it's a Healey vehicle. So first and foremost, we brand ourselves. We want people to know Healey, not just the brands we represent. But yeah, there's Stellantis dealers every 10 minutes by us or 15 minutes by us. So one thing is you have to show what you do for them, how you're different, whether it's a 48-hour return policy that we offer or money back guarantee, something like that really differentiates us than someone else selling Ram, because there really is no difference. It's the same product. It's who sells it, how you take care of that customer, and how you retain that customer for life, and making sure that they're having the best possible experience. And we always say it's not about just having a great experience. It's creating customer loyalty. We want to sell cars to you for the rest of your life. We want to sell them to your family. So that's the thing that we really strive for, is that customer loyalty point, not just the best customer experience. And I think we've proven that pretty well so far.
Don't you think it's interesting? So I've been in the car business for over 30 years. And when I began, everybody thought, hey, technology one day will replace people in selling cars. And it's just never happened. Why do you think that is? Like, it's still essentially a human person-to-person experience. Now, truly, some people want to experience it different. We provide those paths, as I'm sure you do. But
yeah, absolutely.
What is it about buying a car that still is very much a human experience?
I still think people like to be pampered when they come to a dealership. Yeah, they want to spend less time there, but there's that connection. Like, say for when I go to a restaurant, if someone gives me the best customer experience than me just going in there and ordering and taking my food, like I'm a sucker for a good experience and being pampered and taking care of you. And I think there's so much to learn in these cars too. Like, yes, you can go look it up on YouTube, but someone going over your vehicle after you purchase it is so important. And also on the service side is you're going in and your car's broken. Someone to hear your issues, take them in, and really understand that they're going to help you and they're going to go the extra mile to make sure your car gets back on the road safe and sound. So that human touch is so important, I still think. And I think, yeah, technology is phenomenal. We use it all every day, whether the AI craze now or buying cars online. I think that human touch is still so important. Whether you're just talking to the customer on the phone, letting them know that everything will be okay, or in the dealership, then you're doing something special. Just getting them a cup of coffee goes a long way for a customer. It's that human touch that I think that people still look for when they come to a dealership.
Yeah. Now, you've done some very unique things forward thinking. It's interesting when I look at your group and what you've done out there on social media and whatnot, it seems to me that you use technology to deliver the best experience to the customer, to actually help your team connect better with the customer. You've got a podcast, which we also have, right? Tell us about the podcast.
Yeah. So we do have a podcast. It's not like the Car Dealership Guy podcast where it's blowing the impressions, the numbers of everyone out of the water, but it's something that we could really use and connect with like local businesses. So we like to have, say, the local coffee shop on to really get them out there and help them in the community, or the pizza shop, and just talk about life and how you want to help people and how we operate. We have our managers on to tell their story. We highlight employees that have been with us for a long time and the hardships they had and how they grew with our company. It's fun too. And also the podcast might not be famous or anything like that, but the clips you get from it to show your consumers what Healey's about and what you're doing is so important. And then you have Justin's team that will take a clip, turn it into an ad, and get it in front of those customers that are looking for that great experience. So it just comes full circle, and it's also like a lot of fun doing this kind of stuff.
So transitioning to Justin and Dealers United, there's a quote here. I think this may be a quote from you. Talk to us a little bit about this and how Justin fits in. In a sea of identical inventory and screaming price tags, only one thing makes customers choose your dealership, because it's a commodity, right? Genuine human connection. So for you, how has involvement, engagement on social media and with Justin's team helped to achieve that genuine human connection?
Well, so first off, they're taking what we create and making sure it gets in front of all those consumers. And you're showing, say, so an example, a Hyundai, one of our salespeople does a video, doesn't think it works or anything like that. He had a customer walk in the door and said, "Oh my God, I'd like to work with them." That friendly face that we were able to put in front of that consumer, and they felt comfortable. It was like they almost already knew that person. And that already brings everyone's guard down, because everyone has their guard up when they walk into a car dealership. It's just habit. You're going to make the second biggest purchase of your life. And these are ways where we could really showcase the people at our dealership and how great they are and how they handle that consumer. And also you're almost meeting that person without even actually knowing them yet. And it's just an advantage. And I think, so when I go to a restaurant, like I'm looking online to seeing who the chef is kind of, and then you see him in the kitchen, those kind of things really make that experience that much better.
So your role in the auto group is chief marketing officer, right? So I assume this is kind of your sphere, is creating this marketing content that helps show kind of behind the scenes with salespeople. I have a question before we get to Justin. You went to your dad, right? Presumably to get this approved, right? And your dad is of the generation where it's like, I'm going to go put business cards under windshield wipers, or I'm going to put an ad in the phone book. When you went to him and said, "Hey, you know what? I want to spend X dollars to have our salespeople post to Facebook advertising our dealer group," what was the response? That older generation versus the newer?
So he's actually pretty cool, and he understands that the growth and changes is part of business. And if you don't change, you're dying, kind of a thing. But yeah, he's like, I don't know what that does. That he goes on Facebook now. Now he'll walk in the showroom and be like, "Did you make a video today?"
Yeah.
And our kind of theory is like, and also I don't do this by myself. I have a phenomenal team, 10 to 15 people. We have our creators on the ground. They make me look look real good at the effort they put in. But at the dealership level, when we're doing it, we want them to kind of be, we call them internal influencers, because that's the craze, being an influencer. So we're having them showcase our content, whether it's sharing it, putting a video out there about themselves, because they're kind of their own business as well, the salespeople. So why not help yourself? And then you're sharing Healey content. So it just goes together. The more they can influence for the brand and for themselves, it just works out better for everyone. And that's kind of what we go. We kind of tell them like the internal influencer, that's like our little term we like to use. And they understand that a little better because everyone wants to be an influencer today, every young kid. So that's kind of what we go with and how we get them to do it.
I love that idea. An internal influencer. Now, I know I've said this 3 times in a row, Justin. I promise we're coming, but I just have one follow-up question. Again, going back to your dad and going back to your idea of having salespeople create this dynamic content. The idea of salespeople going out and creating content scares the daylights out of some dealer groups and dealerships. It's a ton of risk, right? What if they say the wrong thing? They're wearing the wrong thing. They trigger the public. How do you prevent it from becoming a disaster? Or is it something you even think about?
Yeah. So one thing is obviously we make sure we try to get them to do a separate, say, Instagram account. It's say Teddy T sells cars or whatever they come up with, or Healey Kia Nick or whatever it is. And so it's separate from their personal life, because also they want to keep their kids private and all that stuff. We don't want them to engage in that. And I understand that. I don't ever push their boundaries or anything like that. But so one thing is that when we're doing it is obviously we're reviewing everything internally. We have a team that they'll send it in or create something, and we kind of monitor it that way. And we have all these people watching. So if they say something wrong, and it's not just whether they say something bad or accidentally slip or something like that, whether it's bad incentive they say or it's wrong, we got to correct it. But it is a risk, but it's a bigger risk not doing it and not telling your story and telling about our brand. And it really is. And we have general managers now that really believe in it. They understand the importance of it. They get on, a lot of them, they get on camera now because people want to know who's running that store. And it's just, like I said, a bigger risk to not do it.
It's a bigger risk to not do it than it is to do it. And in fact, I think you've said your employees are your most powerful marketing weapons. Like they're your biggest potential marketers. So Justin, entering Dealers United, when you think about these social media campaigns, these internal influencers, what is the goal when you go to your team and you say, hey, I want you to be active out there? What is the goal of those interactions? And how do you help guide that from Dealer United's perspective?
So the thing that's cool with the Jay and the team at Healey is they allow their team to be authentic.
Yeah.
So, you asked Jay, hey, does it scare the daylights out of you if your team is going to go say something? And, Jay and his team of marketers have done a really, really good job of coaching the people on the street, so to speak, to be authentic. And they do a really, really good job of humanizing their brand.
Wait, so how do you train people to be authentic? I don't even know what authentic means anymore.
So we know we let them have fun with it, whether it's we're doing something that's a theme for like Christmas or something like that. They're dressing up as Santa or wearing ugly sweaters and doing like the little picture thing. They're being themselves. So, and that's what customers want to see. People want to be people, not just robots. So,
and I think that's it, Jay, right? When we talk about humanizing the brand, it's not just about a vehicle or not just about a walk around. You guys do things that are fun and silly and genuinely authentic.
Yeah. I mean, the humanizing is so important. That's such a key word too for us. It's, you don't want to just be a robot in another dealership that just sells product. Like who wants to do business with that? Yeah, there are people that want to do it easy and just make it transactional, but that humanizing point and showing who you are as a human being and what our brand is about, again, I can't harp on enough how important it is for any business, not just in the auto industry too.
So it's interesting when you think about automotive in our history, one of the biggest challenges we've had is the lack of authenticity, the lack of transparency. You think about the old auto, like used cars, the movie Suckers, getting the goods, right? Like all these auto dealer movies are atrocious because they are inauthentic. They do lack transparency. Social media, Justin, provides a real opportunity for us to show that our employees are the people who are buying cars. We are a part of the community. Folks like Jay give back in ways that no other industry gives back to the local communities. You remove that, and there's a gaping hole by not having automotive in communities, right?
Well, for sure, if you take automotive, automotive is the cornerstone of so many communities. And with the content that we were talking about earlier, by humanizing the brand and getting that out across social media to local shoppers, Jay and his team are able to go back to his original statement, right? Was how do we separate ourselves? How do we make our business different than the competitors? And oftentimes that's it. It's by letting the local shoppers in their community know who the Healey Brothers Brothers team is and what they're all about.
And then when they come in, they already know you. So they feel there's a level of comfort and familiarity, the familiarity that comes by watching a bunch of videos over and over again. So Jay, you've had Justin and his team create videos. They'll take what your salespeople create, your managers and others create. They'll add their touch to it. What's been your most successful quote unquote campaign or video effort that you've put out there?
A lot of the ones are us giving back to the community that we really showcase and get out there. Those are good ones. I do have a couple GMs that love getting on camera and they have their kids involved, like their cute younger daughter or something like that. Those do really well because you're humanizing. You're showing you have a family too. You're local and people really resonate with that. So those are really good ones for us and the social proof ones. So us getting a customer involved, talking to our salesperson and really talking about their experience. Those work really well. We try to do more of those and consumers want to hear what other consumers did at your facility. That social proof is so huge for a person like us. When you don't know where you are in a town and you go look up a restaurant, you need to know how it was from other people's voice, not just what that restaurant said. I know I keep using restaurant because I try to be a foodie, but I'm not really a foodie. So I'm always looking that stuff up. So
I bet you are a foodie. I bet you do a good job, especially that close to New York. You've got some nice cuisine.
Yeah.
You've got great cuisine.
And then
there, so.
my wife's family's in the gourmet grocery business. So they've taught me a few things, I guess.
Actually, that's an interesting question. Are there lessons, not getting too far away from this, from restaurants and from grocery stores and whatnot that you've applied to automotive as it relates to social?
Well, yeah, it's that hospitality feeling. I think, like I said, being pampered when you go to a restaurant, knowing your order, giving you the right, say, when you ask a question, getting that feedback, say, on the steak or how it should be cooked is so important to me when I go there. And we try to critique every experience to that consumer. And we want to be authentic. We want to give them our opinion where they think they should be, because every consumer is different. Everyone has different issues as well. You have to customize that experience. And I think the restaurant and that gourmet food and catering really tailors that experience to that consumer. And I think that's super, super important.
So thinking about your social campaign efforts and as chief marketing officer within the auto group, do you have salespeople that are just like, I'm not comfortable being on camera. I don't want to do this. Like, what do you do with that?
So we do have those people, and there's some people that are hard to push. We try to get them involved, whether it's them just being in a video kind of a thing to show themselves. It is difficult. It's a challenge every single day. I try to set an example of being on camera a lot and talking a lot, showing that, not just telling them what to do, but trying to lead by example a little bit. Our GMs get on and do it. Our executive GM will do videos. My dad has been on a podcast talking with Hyundai. So we all try to set the example so they know, like, hey, we're here with you. We want to learn too. We're not the best at it. I know I'm not the best at it. I'm trying to get better every day, but I understand how important it is to get your face out there and talk to your consumer. Like, there's no better place to do it than social media. You get to reach so many more people in about 10 seconds. And it's really, there's no cost to really, your iPhone is better than half the cameras out there. So just doing it on your iPhone and getting it out there is so important. And I harp on it all the time. But it's a battle to get those people on. We have one girl who's at Chevrolet. She'll get on for us every now and then. She's got like a famous TikTok almost. She's got like thousands and thousands of followers on TikTok. I'm like,
oh, wow.
And she's talking about Healey and she's doing some funny stuff too. So she's engaging. But yeah, it's a challenge. It's something that you never have to stop. You're never going to work on it. Like training for sales. You always have to constantly always do it, bring it up, meeting. So it's.
Do you, so this person that you're mentioning who was super shy about it and ended up getting on and now she's trending, like, is she a believer now? Did the experience make her say?
She knows what's going to happen. She just has fun with it. She does like the funny videos, the trends and stuff like that. She has other people in the dealership get involved with it. And well, she's a top salesman every single month for us too. She's one of the best, very, very easy to work with. Customers absolutely love her. Her nickname is Pamper. So she's always pampering the customers.
Oh.
So she does great. And she has a blast with TikTok. So I'd never in a million years never thought she would be the one to do it, but she's done a great job.
So what are the most productive social channels, digital and social, for you as a group as you work with Dealer United and Justin and the team?
So our bread and butter is still Meta, is the Facebook and Instagram for the ads. Obviously, we have fun with TikTok and stuff like that. And we're on LinkedIn. We're on all of them because I think you need to have that omni-channel to really touch your customer everywhere. Pinterest does very well for us. Obviously, we know the moms are there.
Pinterest. So
Still got you,
I know. So we did Pinterest for a while, and our Subaru store did really well with it. Yeah. And Pinterest is tricky because I couldn't quite figure out how you get there on Pinterest. So
I don't use it that much. It's where the moms are. We know the moms are decision makers in households, and they want to see the family cars. So we battle back and forth whether I want to show a lower income product on there or anything like that. But the family vehicles that are showing there do very well. They perform well. But when it comes to Meta, I still the bread and butter. We're serving an ad. Other platforms are getting better, but that's really where our sweet spot is still, and that's where our buyer is. It has that the 40 to 60 year olds are still really on there and engaged, so you could really get your story across and obviously market to them.
So Justin, what are some of the keys to creating that best content on Meta? What are you looking for when Jay and his team send you content, or you're asking them to go out and create content? Are there best practices for us?
Yeah, for sure. Again, think about your audience, think about the vehicle you're trying to target. Obviously, when it comes to audience segmentation, you're going to communicate different to a mom for a third row SUV than you may for someone who is looking for a first vehicle. So, we always work with the team at Healey to make sure that the content that they're providing us is aligned with the targeting and ultimately their goal. The second part, and I think, Jay kind of touched on it, have fun, right? It has to be fun. That leads towards that authenticity, that leads towards the credibility. Again, to Jay's point, some of their highest performing, and again, digital ad performance can be sort of an interesting conversation, but some of their highest performing ads are the ones that are not necessarily about a vehicle. It's about something in the community or a customer testimonial. So we work really closely with the team to understand what their goals are, what their objectives are, and how we can best take the knowledge and expertise that our team has working across, hundreds of dealers and every digital ad format possible to go back to the team at Healey and say, hey, here's how we would approach this. What do you guys think? Let's rock and roll.
So it's interesting when you think about authenticity and transparency, and you're talking about what you are. Like, it's not just a salesperson saying, hey, I'm going to post this crazy thing to Meta, and it just works, and then it just happens to be successful. Like, you're super thoughtful about what that content is, about when you post it. And it evolves over time, what
Sure.
works and what doesn't work. Do you have any examples of maybe something that will trend or work on Meta or be successful evolving over the past year or two, and what you think about when you think about creating the most, purposeful and successful content?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, all of the platforms are consistently evolving and changing algorithms and just format. So Meta this past year released a new ad format called the Instant Experience. It gives you the ability to have a video playing at the top and then inventory scrolling at the bottom. So if you think about from a segmentation perspective, someone on Jay's team shoots a quick video talking about F-150s in stock, and maybe there's some features of the new F-150 or whatever it may be. And then at the bottom of that ad, we have inventory segmented out, specifically bringing you back to the VDP for that F-150 inventory. So it's a very, very effective way. You're using video, you're using still. It drives the consumer directly back to the Healey website, to that particular vehicle. So when it comes to, evolution and how things are changing, it's just about understanding what each of the platforms are looking for, but then also being able to match the ad type or content to the dealership's goal. Again, if the team at Healey needed to focus on additional service ROs, there's going to be different types of ads and different types of targeting that are going to be more effective for service that may be different than selling a new vehicle.
Got it. That makes sense. Do you have any? Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, so right now we're actually creating a new service ad for our Hyundai. We built a Hyundai facility and we want to really take it to the next level. So we're creating an ad campaign now. That's why I was talking to Rachel this morning about that. But one thing is important with Justin's team that I really appreciate that he understands us is our location, but also we don't want to just don't want to shove product down consumers' throats all day. They have to hear your story. You have to tell a story and then to see what you're about and what your people that work there are about. There's some dealers that, and this goes for other companies too, that just want to just shove product down their customers or retarget them with F-150, but you're not really telling them anything about you. You're not giving them social proof of why to do business with you. And I think that's something that we understand each other very well. And Justin's team is, I don't want to do that. I'm not about that. And I don't think that works. I don't think that's an effective way to market and really engage with their consumers and have them engage back with you to want to do business. So
yeah, you said, I had a quote here, creating content that makes customers think I want to buy from them. A lot of us think that little place ad with the car and the payment does that. It doesn't, right? Not in today's world.
Well, and I think, Jay, what you're talking about is meeting the consumer where they are in their journey, right? There is a point in time where we do want to deliver a shopper an ad with a particular vehicle, and maybe it has a price to drive them back to that specific VDP, but it's not necessarily just about serving inventory constantly. If you have somebody who just recently moved to the Hudson Valley, they need to understand who you are and what Healey Brothers is all about before we start serving ads. If you're going to really truly get them as a shopper to know who you are, ultimately trust you. And then at the end of the day, we do want them to buy from you, but it's about bringing them down that path to purchase instead of just trying to push them towards the vehicle.
Or when they just buy a car from us, you don't want to show them more cars to buy. You want to tell them about your service, why you guys are so great, whether you have loaner cars, pickup and delivery service, at-home oil changes or services. So those things are also important. You have to have the right marketing that fits that customer's, I guess, journey of purchasing and after purchase that really makes sense and keep them engaged with your brand.
So you're talking about targeted videos that you send to them, not necessarily the stuff they see on Meta. Or are you able to shape what they see on Meta based on where they are in the process? How do you do that?
Can't tell you, Sam. No,
proprietary.
Basically, just understanding and being able to track that customer through their buyer journey. So we're able to kind of track their digital footprint to see what they're interacting with, what they're engaging with, what type of behavior they're exhibiting.
Yeah.
So again, to Jay's point, if somebody just purchased a vehicle and we know that, we should start engaging them with service content for that particular vehicle, or maybe referral, like happy customer, that type.
So this goes to, you have an algorithm or you have an ability to identify a person who's logged into Facebook, where they are and what they're looking for. I want to go back to the salespeople creating and dealerships or employees of the dealership creating content. So in my mind, one of the things that causes a little bit of concern doing that is copyright. So do they use the wrong image? Do they use music, right? We've talked about that. You have with us within our group. And then touching on something that you don't want to have touched on, like a social issue or something that creates some sort of an unintended backlash. How do you think about that, Jay? And how do you prevent that from happening?
Well, first, we have content creators in our stores every day. So they're they know what Healey's about and our standards and how we do stuff. So they'll shoot content for them. And then we also give them tips and they know they could reach out to our team like, hey, I want to talk about this car, and we'll make a little script. We'll have a shot list, or if they want a personal, have fun with it and just do a selfie kind of video. We have certain standards. Our whole team knows that. We're not going to do explicit or anything crazy. We do some fun stuff to try to get engagement and show our personality like we talked about before. But we have our standards. Our team's always in the store every single day. We have people, like I said, in the store every day. So they see them. They know the kind of videos they need to do. Like right now, we have the specials out. So we have fun special videos that are being created now, and hopefully will be done by end of day tomorrow. I'll go to Justin's team. But it takes time for them to understand and what to do and what not to do, kind of. But we're never going to take away of who they are as a person, because they work for us because that's who they are. That authenticity is so important to us, and we never want to shell someone and keep them not themselves or make them into robots, because that's not what we're about.
Yeah. You want to walk the line between super innovative, creative, authentic, but then also, respecting brand standards. I read a quote and in fact, I think you're going to talk about this at NADA. We'll tease that in just a minute, but there's a reason that bland inventory and blogs kill engagement, right? So if you're not on the spot on inventory posts and blogs, your engagement will actually go down. Which is that the reason to have someone that knows what they're doing work with you on posting and creating this content?
Yeah, for sure. And we're testing things too. You have to be able to test stuff. But yeah, just doing a regular video, seeing not like being standard, or writing just any blog. Every dealer could do that. It's pretty straightforward and standard. You have to be different. You have to have fun. You have to test things. We're constantly testing times to post, locations to use, certain hashtags, whether it's 3 or 5 hashtags. We test more hashtags sometimes. We're bouncing ideas off Justin, saying, hey, where are you guys seeing? What is Meta saying to you on how to post this, times? And we're very targeted. We also got another thing to just spin off this. We got away from just posting and trying to get someone in China or someone else or all over the country to follow you.
Yeah.
You have to be located in your community. I don't care if I have 1,000 followers from Canada. It doesn't do anything for me. I'd rather have 10 new followers in Goshen, New York, and they engage with me all day and know what I'm about than someone all over. So those things are important.
So that is an interesting point. So you can post the ads in a way that it hits a targeted geographic audience.
Yeah, well, it's us. We're also testing organic versus paid ads. So that's very important to us too. We know organic's growing, and that's a way for us to say, hey, that got good engagement. Now let's put a spend behind it. Let's make it into an ad. Let's reach more people and tell our story. And Justin's team realizes that when we have our meetings, they bring up content that we created that they think, hey, we could turn this into an ad. We think it will do really well and bring that customer full circle to the dealership. But yeah, we're big on organic. We wanted to test it out first, kind of a thing. It's kind of your guinea pig, and then you could put the money behind it and spend and see how it performs.
So Justin, that is interesting. So it's a global tool, Meta is, and Pinterest, but you want to target locally, not necessarily broadly, right?
Well,
Biggest
yeah. I
bang for
mean, again, depending on the geographic area and, travel patterns, and there could be a lake in, a certain direction. We are always working with the dealers that, are partners of ours to make sure that the targeting makes sense for them. And to Jay's point earlier, he mentioned testing. Some of it is testing. Jay may say, hey, we want to try to grab some customers from, 50 miles away. There's a particular town where we think we could penetrate. Okay, cool. We'll go give it a try. And then we'll come back 30 days later and look at the results and say, gosh, Jay, based on this targeting, this is what, you spent, and we were able to drive this amount of additional shoppers. Yes, we think we should keep doing it. Or on the flip side of that, gosh, we gave it a run and it didn't necessarily perform as we had hoped or expected. Let's head in a different direction. So targeting is huge, Sam, when it comes to how to most effectively deploy social campaigns.
You have to understand your market before you deploy this. And there are losers, but there's also big winners. If you're not testing and innovating, you're dying. And you're not, and also another thing, if you're not creating custom content today, I think your brand will slowly fizzle away. I think content's such a big part of it as well. Another example was we did a Lincoln campaign. My market's it's not a huge market. There's hundreds of thousands of people, maybe 1 million total with all the different counties, but there's a 30 minutes away in Bergen County, higher net worth there. And there's a Lincoln dealer, but we could serve to that borderline, maybe do a better pricing and better experience saying, hey, we'll deliver your car right to your doorstep. And we did that kind of campaign, and we sold some Lincolns in that area. Was it a little expensive? Was it risk reward? But it was something we needed to try because we needed to move Lincolns. Obviously, Lincoln's a brand that's been going up and down. I think they do have a great product, but we have to think outside the box with them. And that's another way we did it.
So your secret is safe with us. We will not tell that other Lincoln dealer that you play. I'm
sure you can figure it out really quick. He's a pretty successful Lincoln dealer.
Yeah, yes. So it really is. It's kind of cool because what we used to do with billboards and newspapers 20 years ago and phone book ads and whatever else, it's just transitioned completely to online. Is there a way to quantify, Jay, the impact of having a well thought out campaign in this area to the business? Quantify it in terms of dollars or sales?
Oh, yeah. So, you have our match pack reports, and the best part about social media, everything is tracked. You're seeing everything. Like, it's not like you're doing TV. TV has its place, maybe for sale or something like that, but you can't really track it. You're taking the word of the vendor saying, hey, you don't know. Every ad I do, I know how it performs. I know broken down in a chart. I know how many people touch my ad that bought a car every single month. So that's super important to me. I'm a data guy. I need to know what's working, what's not working, and I'll move budget around to what's working. I'm not going to keep spending on something that's not working unless it's really an important part of our message and our culture and our story that we want to keep spending on so our consumers know about us, then we'll keep that. But it's a moving target. You have to keep understanding your market. It's evolving, technology's changing, ads, the way consumers ingest content is changing. So that's something that's super important to us.
Well, and I think to your point, Jay, about you being a data guy, you challenge us, and that's a good thing. That's part of the partnership, right? Like, you are all about testing and learning and iterative perfection, but you also challenge us and you hold us to standards. And I think that's a really key part of our partnership, is because we're able to give you the data and you see the data very transparently based on campaign performance. To your point, tracking every metric possible. But as an operator, it's important for you to see that data so you do have the ability to bring it down to, the bottom line. Because at the end of the day, yes, you want to have fun and you want to make sure the brand is out there. You want to make sure that the community understands who you are as a business, but you also have to make sure that it is a good business decision.
Needs to quantify.
It has to pay the bills a little bit here. We have to see.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Also, the data is super important for some of the GMs. We all know our GMs are data guys. They like to see this. They understand that importance of them making content. We turned this one into an ad. The return on this, look how much traffic we got to our website. We sold a few cars from it. I mean, just selling one car from one ad, it's pays for itself right there. So it's very important for them. They understand where their ad dollars are going. And we kind of have our marketing under one umbrella because it was just getting out of control, being all over. But we all talk about it. I love their ideas. They come up with stuff. We're very open. They still get to have their voice in marketing and all that stuff as well. But they understand we're Healey first, and then we're the franchises too.
So you talk about the data, thinking about dealers or maybe general managers that aren't as familiar and they're looking to get into this more efficiently and effectively. What are the best data sources? What things should I be looking at as I look to embark on a great digital or social campaign?
Awesome question. Again, cost per lead, that's typically where a lot of people will focus. We do get down to cost per unit sold, so you can actually see a return on your investment. All of the metrics above that, engagement, that type of information is important. But at the end of the day, from an operations perspective, you're going to want to look at, cost per lead and ultimately cost per unit sold. So those are really the key metrics that we focus on with Jay and the team.
So are there some companies that'll come out and try to get you focus on a different metric that tends to tell a story that's not completely as efficient or effective?
Well, sure. I mean, again, you can look at engagement, you can look at reach, you can look at impressions, and all of those things are fantastic. But at the end of the day, you kind of mentioned earlier, if it doesn't pay the bills, I don't know that it really matters. The other thing that's important is, you have to understand the objective. A cost per lead on a campaign that is focused on service is going to be different than a cost per lead on a campaign that's focused on selling aged inventory. Both equally as important, but we always want to make sure that we're communicating with Jay or any one of our partners what that difference may be, just so expectations are level set and nobody's surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also companies out there that will just talk about impressions and sending traffic to your website. But we all know not all traffic is good traffic. It has to be the right traffic. So
well, to your point, I don't want traffic from, China, right? Because that's not going to result in a sale. So it could be a big number, but it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, it's irrelevant. It has to be like the return on investment. And
even there can be local traffic that isn't genuine traffic. Like our goal is to drive traffic based on people who are interested in something that Healey Brothers offers. Service, parts, new vehicle, used vehicle, insurance, whatever the case may be. So we want to drive quality traffic to a dealership's website.
Yeah, very cool. Well, as we get towards the end of this, just a couple more questions. So, Jay, as you think about your role as chief marketing officer within a large group selling a lot of units, what's the biggest misconception a lot of people have about your job and your role?
So it was a role that we put together because, like I said before, our marketing was out of control. Like it was just everyone we were marketing against each other, and it was important to get under one roof, have some cost control. And this job has also evolved. It used to just be like, hey, buy radio ads, or my uncle's like, hey, buy a billboard or whatever it is, or let's spend money on TV. Now it became you're really worried about content creation and how you're going to target your audience. And I think some people forget about that. That's like such a big part of it, like the content creation, showing what your story is about and showing what your brand's about. It has drastically changed from the old school of, hey, we're just going to buy all this marketing today and spend all this amount of dollars this month. And it morphed into a position that I think was needed. I think my uncle, my dad, our executive GM realized that it was time to have someone that could really look over it, whether it's scripts or where we're going to spend our dollars. And it just evolved. It's kind of like we put it together in the last 5 years, and it's helped us. I think they would say the same thing. Hopefully they would say the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. It seems to me it's probably for a group your size, it's a mistake not to have someone in that role, not to focus on that. It would seem to me. I could be crazy.
For sure. We were putting a lot of weight on our executive GM shoulders, like trying to handle all that, run stores, manage people, over 500 people. But like I said, I have a lot of help. I have my cousin. We make marketing decisions, and I'm not the sole decision maker. I do make a lot of decisions, but it's talked about as a team. I need to hear their opinions. I want it, and they're just involved as me. Like whether it's my brother giving some feedback, like, hey, I think we should change this up. It's definitely very open. It's not like, hey, it's my way or the highway. It's changing.
Well, that would be advice as well within the family, within any organization. The chief marketing should be very collaborative with everybody.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to
get to that result, because part of your job is convincing everyone out to allocate the resources and the assets to an area that's new and growing and constantly changing, right? Like it's not static. So it's neat. Both you and Justin are presenting at NADA coming up. So your workshop is called Exploring 17 Battle-Tested Social Ads. It'll be a part of NADA coming up here in January. Your session, January 25th at 12:30 Central. Justin, for those that show up for that training session, what can they expect to learn?
So what we put together, Sam, our team worked with Jay and the team at Healey, and we went through over the past couple of years and looked at ads and strategies that really, truly performed. And so the goal of our session is to walk through, as it's called, 17 battle-tested strategies, but to give people who show up for that session action that they can walk away with. Nice. When you get back from NADA on Monday or Tuesday, whatever the case may be, even if you don't want to work with a third-party partner like Dealers United, we're going to give them, the keys, if you will, to some of the strategies that the team at Healey employs on a regular basis to do more and do more effectively when it comes to social media.
Well, and I'll tell you, we've worked with you here at the Ziegler Auto Group, as has Jay, and you guys are very good at engaging with our teams. We did monthly calls with you and our entire social media teams across all 41 stores. And to your point, some of these things are just immediately applicable, and they can be used, implemented, and you see instant results. And then the reality of social and digital is it changes so fast. You got to figure out how to keep up with it. But Jay, anything we could look to be unveiled at NADA that would be interesting and exciting?
They're going to get a little bit of social proof of why we rely so heavily on them and the collaboration and communication, which I can't thank them enough, because they understand I'm a pretty, I guess, needy person when it comes to it. I'm on stuff. I need stuff done. I like speed. It's one of my biggest things, and they handle all of that. And they're gonna get a little secret sauce, I guess, of how we run our stores and run our marketing. So it's gonna be fun. It's our second go around. So
I like it. Go around number 2. We look forward to see. Well, and to the point of it evolving, it'll probably be some different content because lessons learned over the past 12 months.
For sure.
Looking forward to seeing you there at NADA. I'll be there as well. Jay and Justin, appreciate having both of you here on the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Sam.